Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Oxnard Planning Commission for Thursday, October 16, 2025. The meeting will come to order at 6 p.m. The public may view the meeting from home on the city's website, Spectrum Channel 10, Frontier Channel 35, or on the city's YouTube website. To participate in the meeting, the public may provide comments to the Planning Commission via email at planning@oxnard.org no later than 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or through the city's website, or call the Planning Division office. Additionally, those wishing to speak can dial the phone number listed at the bottom of the screen, follow the instructions to access the meeting, and press star 9 to raise your hand, indicating your intention to speak on the agenda item being discussed. Madam Secretary, can we please have the roll call?
Chair Arejo.
Present.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Present.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Present.
Commissioner Barcena.
Present.
Commissioner Nash.
Present.
Commissioner Schulke.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We will now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Peltier, will you kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, Ms. Peltier. The next agenda item is C, public comments on items not on the agenda. At this time, a person may address the Planning Commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, including information consent items, and any time not appearing on the agenda. The Planning Commission cannot take action on any item presented during public comments that is not on the agenda, and such item may only be referred to the Commission Secretary. Persons wishing to speak on public hearing items should do so at the time of the public hearing. Madam Secretary, are there any public comments for items not on the agenda?
No, Chair.
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda, and with none listed, we'll move on to ex parte declarations for public hearing items. Please state any ex parte declarations. I'll move across the dais. Commissioner Nash.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
None, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
None, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Schulke.
None, thank you.
Thank you, and Commissioner Barcena.
None, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, and none for myself. Moving on to Section F, Public Hearing, Agenda Item F1, Project Name Food Share, Ventura County, City Staff Daniel Holt, Associate Planner, Planning and Zoning Permit, number 24-540-02, Plan Development Permit, and 24-310-03, Lot Line Adjustment, property located at 1425 Mariner Drive and 1100 East Woolley Road. Food Share Ventura County is requesting to develop a new approximately 85,845 square foot, two-story warehousing facility for food receiving, storage, and distribution. The lot line adjustment would modify the existing lot line between the two parcels filed by Tanner Shelton of Sandbell on behalf of property owner Food Share Incorporated of Oxnard, California. Per Measure M, a staff presentation has been pre-recorded and the link has been posted to YouTube. Does staff wish to give some introductory remarks at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have, there's one error in the staff report I'd like to clarify real quick. On page 6, there is table 4 for zoning consistency, and both under the side yard setback and rear yard setback row, the peak height is at 48 feet 9 inches. It should be 49 feet and 9 inches, consistent with the max building height row above. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hook, and duly noted. Next, we'll have the applicant present at this time, if they are here. And if so, you have 15 minutes to use as you see fit, and you can begin.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tanner Shelton, Senior Planner with Sandbell. I'm honored to be here this evening representing Food Share Ventura County on this action. We have a PowerPoint that will get queued up here for you, so thanks. Food Share Ventura County is proposing to develop an approximately 85,848 square foot, two-story warehouse facility for food receiving, storage, and distribution at 1425 Mariner Drive. The site is a vacant lot in the existing Channel Islands Business Center. In addition to the warehouse, the proposed project will contain administrative and warehouse offices, volunteer areas, meeting rooms, support spaces, and a commercial production kitchen to prepare pre-made meals for off-site distribution. It is very important to note that no members of the public will be permitted to pick up or receive food at the proposed project site. All food distribution to the public occurs at off-site designated distribution sites operated with partner agencies. As detailed in the city staff report, the proposed project is in conformance with all applicable limited manufacturing plan development zoning standards. Additionally, the project is consistent with the city's 2030 general plan, directly implementing or supporting policies SC 5.5, CD 1.2, CD 5.1, and 5.2, among others. For these reasons, we request that your commission move to approve city staff's recommendation this evening to grant the requested PD and lot line adjustment. I'd like to introduce Monica White, President and CEO of FoodShare Ventura County, to discuss the really amazing and impactful work that FoodShare does in our community and how this new facility is going to help implement that in their vision moving forward. So, Monica, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanner, and good evening, commissioners. My name is Monica White. I'm the president and CEO of FoodShare Ventura County, and we are honored to be here tonight to be able to share about our very exciting project, because this is something that is very big for FoodShare. This is going to be a game changer for our organization as well as for the community. So FoodShare, I'll go right into it. FoodShare is the food bank for Ventura County, meaning that we are working with 200 different nonprofits throughout Ventura County who are getting food from us at no cost. Those are food pantries, and we are serving about 253,000 people on an annual basis. That is through that network of all those pantry partners. The need has continued to grow. It hit a high point at COVID and has never really gone back down. And so that, how FoodShare actually works is we get our food from a variety of different sources. We purchase food, we collect from all the retail establishments throughout Ventura County, we do food drives, we get food from the government, they send us commodities, and we also glean. We go to people's backyards, and we also work with all of our farmers. All of that comes into FoodShare and then goes out through all of those nonprofit partners. That could be a church, it could be an after-school program, it could be a closed site such as Rescue Mission or a women's shelter. It could be the congregate meal site, or it could be the big distribution that we hold every single Wednesday at College Park. We started this in 2020, and we are still continuing to this day. Nearly 1,000 cars come through every single week. It's quite an amazing distribution, but it continues to grow. And that is why we are embarking on this big project. 20 million pounds of food goes in and out of FoodShare on an annual basis. When you put that into meals, it equals almost 17 million meals. If we were to go to the store, if we were to go to Vaughn's and we were to buy all of that 20 million pounds of food, it would cost nearly $60 million. Our annual budget is only $9 million, so we get a lot of food that is donated from all of those different sources. We have about 300 different locations throughout Ventura County that we are working with and distributing food. So FoodShare has been in Oxnard at our location on South Bank for the last 40 years. You can see the picture there from 1985 with our founders when they opened up. They distributed 35,000 pounds of food. Today we do that in 3 hours. So the need has grown and our capacity has grown as well. But the bad news is that we have absolutely reached capacity. We have no way to be able to go any further in the facilities that we have. We are in 3 warehouses, one right across the street from each other, and then we leased another 10,000 square feet. This is a little hard to see, but the new building, we have been very intentional about what we need to build in order to be able to feed our future. We have built this building, 85,000 square feet approximately, to be able to source 40 million pounds of food. So we're looking to be able to double the amount of food that we can distribute to our neighbors in need. And then we look to be able to reach that number at about the year 2040. So the building will accommodate us for at least the next 15 years. And then there's always room for expansion. So at College Park, we talked about this. I just wanted to be able to show you a picture. If you have not seen this distribution, people line up almost for hours ahead of time to be able to get a box of groceries and to be able to get a box of produce. 75 volunteers every single week are down there to be able to help us distribute this food. The most impactful thing is when we open the trunk to be able to put the box of food in and you see the muddy boots in the back. We know that these are farm workers, these are working families, these are seniors. Those are the people who we are feeding every single day. It's another picture of the long lines of cars that line up every single week. We also feed our seniors. We have a government program called the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. We call it Senior Kits. 3,500 boxes every single week we are distributing to our seniors. A senior is over 60, lives in Ventura County, and is under the federal poverty level for Ventura County. We are also serving our farm workers. We have farm worker boxes that we have purchased food that is specific for our farm workers. They want certain types of food that we may not get from the government. We may not get from people's backyards or for Port Hueneme. So we are purchasing masa, oil, hominy, fideo, rice, beans, and we're putting together these farm worker boxes and we're bringing them directly to the fields to be able to feed those in need. And as you can imagine, at this time, this is more appreciated than ever. We are also feeding our unhoused. We have these bags, we call them kitchen free because they don't require a kitchen. Everything in here does not require to be heated, or it doesn't need a stove, it doesn't need a refrigerator. We even put utensils and wet naps in there to be able to give these to our the unhoused. We have done almost or distributed nearly 50,000 of these bags since we started this in COVID. The reason we put them in bags is because when our unhoused show up on a bike or they're walking, they don't necessarily have the ability to get a big, huge box and take that home. And what they were doing is they were taking out the items that they could use and leaving the rest. And so that's why we build these these bags specifically for our unhoused. It's important that we do our programs specific for each of these demographics. And our volunteers. We have 44 employees. Many of our employees are here today, along with some of our board members. 4,400 volunteers on an annual basis. They provide over 45,000 hours of service. We could not do what we do without our volunteers. So one of the things that we're looking for to build in our new facility is to be able to accommodate large amounts of groups that come in. I'll give you an example. Last Monday, Premier America came in. Trade Desk has come in, Amgen has come in, Patagonia, the County of Ventura, the City of Oxnard. They come in with very large groups because they want to do a team building, they want to do a give back day. So they come in and they power through. They build boxes, they have a lunch, and they feel really good about that they are helping their community. We want to be able to serve even more of those groups. So the building that we are building, and today we have Julie Jackson from Jackson Lyles Architecture is up there on the screen, that she has helped to design this building. One of the things that we are happy about is there are 2 driveways going into this project. Today we have one driveway where semi-tractor trailer 53-foot trucks are sharing the same lane as Priuses, pickups, and our volunteers. So being able to have 2 separate driveways where our big trucks can go in one and our volunteers and our visitors and our staff can go into the other, and having plenty of parking. Right now, when people come to volunteer, they're parking way, 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 way down the street. Being able to have them right there in front will be great. So we have built an excess number of parking spots just for that reason. Shipping and receiving, we have 1 in-ground loading dock currently. It's in the back. We have to do a lot of our USDA shipments, offloading them by hand with a ramp, with a pallet jack, having 6 bays directly attached to the building. We're going to be able to get that food in right away. We're going to be able to get it right into the cooler and freezer. That's going to be 3 times the size of what we have today. This is our volunteer center. Right now, we have our 3 different warehouses where volunteers go to volunteer. All of the volunteers will be in one area, and we made sure that there's a window right when you walk into the lobby that you're going to be able to see right out into the warehouse where all that magic happens and where our volunteers are giving back. And our agency area, so those 200 agencies that we work with, They are coming in there, not shopping, they're getting the food from us, they're picking out what they need based on how many people they have and what kind of food that they need for their clients. They are gonna have their own area where they're gonna be able to pick out their food, their own cooler, their own freezer, and no longer have to share the same space as our warehouse team who is in there with a forklift. It's gonna be so much safer and much, much more effective. And a community room. It was very important for us to be able to have a space if somebody wants to come in and do those big group activities, or if the County of Ventura wants to hold another town hall or a state of the city or state of the county in our facility. We now will have room for training. We will have room to be able to have classroom style. We can have events. Being able to have just more space was very important. And going right off the community room will be an outdoor amenity. We're in beautiful Southern California. We wanted to make sure we were taking advantage of our gorgeous weather of Oxnard, California. So, and then it's right next to the staff break room. So when it's not being used by a city or an event, that our staff will be able to take advantage of it too. This is just an overview of the top layer or the bottom layer of the facility. One thing that we did not show in here on the renderings is a commercial kitchen. It was important for us to do this because as we have toured 25 other food banks in designing this facility, we found that the food banks that have a commercial kitchen were able to do so much more with the food that is donated. They take that food in and they can make meals and they can get those out to the people as they're waiting in line. So it's just important to note though, they will not be served there at the facility. All of this is to go out to those pantry partners. We're more like the free Costco, as we like to call ourselves. They come in, they get the food, and then they're distributing it at their location. And then we are going to have solar panels. Having that electricity paid for by the sun was very important to us. And there's just another version of the overhead shot. That green to the side is not a soccer field, but it is the water retention basin. And that is the end of my part of this. Is there any questions? Is that the right time? Am I supposed to ask that? Okay.
No, it's okay. It can be part of your presentation. And thank you, Mr. Shelton, Ms. White. Appreciate it. Right now, we're going to head into questions of the commission of either applicant or staff. If that was the end of your presentation, I'll give you, okay. Thank you very much. We'll go to commission, please, if there are any questions of applicants and or the staff. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, I see, I was looking through the packet and I see that it talked about sensitive areas, and I'm assuming that there are none within even a mile of the location of this new facility. Is that correct?
And while someone's getting here, if commission members have questions, if you could just indicate who you're directing it to, that'd be great. Thank you.
Was that directed at applicant?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, no, we're unaware of any sensitive areas within the project site. Obviously, it's an infill location surrounded by already built up industrial land uses, so yes.
Okay, I have another question.
Sure.
Okay, I'm thinking about noise. Do we do anything on the weekends?
No, we are not. Obviously, there's regular operations that occur on the weekends. I'll turn it over to Monica, who can talk a little bit more about how the facility is being used.
Okay.
But nothing outside of regular business hours or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Very good question. Our regular business hours are Monday through Friday. Most of the pantries can come in, they can get their food, and they are doing distributions on the weekend, but the majority of the operations is Monday through Friday. Regular business hours too.
Okay, thank you. And then we talked about bin washing. Where does that wastewater go to? Is that the retention basin or?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up our project civil engineer, Kinsey Hensley, who will talk about the stormwater and where that bin wash water goes to. So,
good evening. The wash water with the bins is actually hooked up to the sewer system, so it goes into a septic tank or a settling tank, and then it goes to a grease interceptor, and then it gets exited out through the sewer lateral. So it doesn't get connected to the storm drain or any surface basins.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just noticing that we talk about the EVs, Is that, and I guess that's for staff, is that a new requirement for new buildings, that we have those charging stations? Or is that unique to this facility?
In regards to the EVs, there is a state code that mandates them
Okay.
in some situations. I don't know the ins and outs of that, as it's more regulated by the building department and engineering during the plan check.
Okay, so I guess we'll be seeing a lot more of this in the future then.
Of EVs.
Yes, in the
Yes.
charging station.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a question. I noticed that in the report, we talked about notifying the businesses within 300 feet, which is not a big area. And so I'm just always concerned that everybody that is in the area is aware. And I know there are no residential, so we wouldn't have that meeting, but there's, other businesses around. And maybe they're here to speak tonight, I don't know. But I just always, I see the newspaper, I see the sign went up. And where is the sign anyway on the property? Is it facing Pacific so that people coming down can see it? Or where was it placed?
So because of the size of the property, we actually did assign both on Woolley and as well of the corner of Voyager and Mariner there.
All right, great, thank you. And that's all I have I have one more. Might be for the applicant. So we're taking the administrative function and we're moving it from South Bank to the new facility, and that will not exist anymore at South Bank. It'll just be an operational warehouse or?
Correct. Our plan is to be able to sell both of our buildings that we are in now, once we are going to be all under one roof.
Oh, okay.
And the leased facility will go away as well.
All right.
That's the name of our campaign, All Under One Roof.
Oh, Ruth, fantastic. Thank you so much. And that's the questions I had.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. First question is for staff, and I did not see any indication, but the project will not be using recycled or great water, as far as I could tell.
We have no indication from the applicant what the water source is.
Okay, thank you. And I guess these other questions I can ask the engineer. Commissioner Stewart addressed the EV charging stations, something I'm in favor of, obviously. Will the solar component be sufficient to power 100% of the facility? Whoever wants to answer that.
Yeah, Julie, our architect's online. She might have the most knowledge of that. Julie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. We are currently exploring the solar capacity. By code, we're required to meet a solar minimum, which will not power 100% of the facility. We are wanting to maximize the solar to the extent possible. That's still being evaluated. Due to the large-scale refrigeration and freezers, it's unlikely that we would be able to provide enough solar to power 100% of the building. But Food Share does want to maximize the solar in order to have as much of the facility as possible that's affordable for them to be powered by the solar panels, and that's still being explored.
Thank you. And I noticed on the mock-ups that the solar is all on the roof. You don't have any canopy solar over the parking?
We actually were considering having a solar canopy in the parking lot, and I'm not sure if it's in the materials that you have. The client has decided not to install the solar canopy at the parking area because of the expense. So the solar will all be on the roof.
Okay, thanks. Now, another component that I love about this project is you mentioned that you were going to have a mini orchard. Is that, could you touch upon that a little bit?
We are going to be improving the landscaping along Woolley. The orchard is something that I think is being considered at what point in time that would be implemented, whether that's a first-in thing or that's something Food Share does down the road. But we will be providing landscaping, new and nice landscaping along Woolley. I think the project team we're still working out some budget factors, whether the orchard happens day one or that's something Food Share does down the road. It is something that they would like to have. We're just trying to make sure we can fit all of the have-to-haves into the project. And that's one of the things that we're evaluating right now.
Right, because we always approve a landscaping standard for the project that come before us. And if there can be any sort of collaboration between Food Share and other businesses where we can more fully develop this idea, I think it's wonderful, because in Oxnard, we can grow anything. And that food should go to the neediest population. It just depends upon water, land, and the manpower, woman power to glean and harvest those crops. But if that's an idea that we can explore more fully later. So I do appreciate it, at least it being mentioned in this project. And that's all my questions for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Any others from the commission at this time? I have a few questions. I'll start with a couple for Ms. White, and then I'll move on to a little bit more of the technical to Mr. Shelton. Ms. White, what are the largest groups that you connect or work with Food Share? You mentioned that you work with a great variety of groups. If you could just mention the largest that you do work with in Ventura County.
Well, I would love to start with Community Action Partners in Oxnard, and Susie Lopez Garcia is here tonight to be able to do a public comment as well. Spirit of Santa Paula, Project Understanding in Ventura, River Haven, pretty much anybody who is distributing food to those in need are getting it from us. There's Manna in Conejo Valley, pretty much all the way from Ojai, Help of Ojai to Agora, as they're there.
Thank you very much. This could go to either Ms. White or Ms. Shelton. I see that the entire acreage of the two parcels is 11 plus. Is there a reason why you didn't use all of the 11 plus acres?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'll take a stab at it, and then my colleagues from Food Share here can add that. It's effectively a byproduct if there were two lots there that existed already, and what we're using is what Food Share currently needs now. This is the facility that, as Monica was saying, is right sized for the present, and then also right sized for some future expansion. So frankly, we just didn't need that additional space. I don't believe there's no solidified plans at this moment for what will happen with that future land at this time.
Right. Thank you. And you can follow up to Mr. Sheldon. And my follow-up to Ms. White is you did mention that there is room for expansion. When and what do you see that to be? Because from what I saw, it's just, correct me if I'm wrong, is it just the parking that's abutting the vacant land, or is it the building that's adjacent to the vacant land?
The vacant lot is next to the parking lot, yes. And then on the other side is the water retention. This would be in a very, very future generation, long after I'm gone, that that they could come and perhaps explore that should that ever need. But at this time, that 2 acres, the reason that we kept it at the 2 acres and working with our commercial real estate broker is they told us 2 acres is a good number, that should the board ever decide that they wanted to sell it, if we needed the cash, we needed any other reason, that that was an opportunity for us. So, and if you might not have seen this, but there was, as Tanner was saying, 2 different acres. We bought them in 2 different times. We bought the first parcel thinking that that would be good. We really wanted those 2 driveways. And so when our fundraising started and we actually were doing quite well, the board decided, you know what, let's do this. Invested in the second piece of property, knowing that we would take just a portion of that and then still keep that other 2 acres separate.
Thank you very much for that. The remainder of my questions for the time being are just in relation to parking. So I'll direct them first to Mr. Shelton, and you can delegate as needed. I remember I was reading that, most of the time when we look at how much parking there's going to be, there was a statement somewhere in our agenda packet that said that that the parking was over the limit for required parking spaces. Usually developers ask us for more parking, and you put it there. Is there a reason for having more parking than the minimum?
Yeah, so parking is obviously generated by Oxnard Municipal Code. There's ratios based upon square footage. When we were designing this facility, the thought was we wanted to make sure we had a little bit of buffer parking to allow for additional, not intensification of uses at the site, but when there are events where there are a lot of volunteers at the facility, if you have a large corporate group coming in, for example, that we could comfortably park everyone in the facility and not burden street parking in the neighborhood. So that was important to us. And this is a unique land use because of that volunteer component that's coming in here. It's not like an 8 to 5, you have X number of employees and that's the number of employees. You have Food Share has this really unique model, as Monica was mentioning, where they've only got 44 staff, and really the heart of this operation is the volunteers that come and package food. So we wanted to just right size the parking, and so because of that, we do have more than what your code prescribes.
Thank you. I'm going to follow up to Mr. Hoke. Is the parking that's available on the street, I assume there's no restrictions on it other than probably no overnight parking or no longer than 3 days, if you know?
I don't have that information, but I could get that to you if you need that.
Okay, thank you. Going back to the parking, I don't know the right word, but it's going to a little, let's just say surprise, because I was looking at, and one of my questions before coming into the meeting was that there will be solar shade structures covering 84 of the 178 proposed parking stalls. But when the presentation was made, and I know it was already alluded to in regards to the cost, that it would be on the roof. I do want answers to the question of, other than the cost, what do you see as the applicant? Any strong differences? Why, other than the costs, what were the reasons, or if it was just a cost? And then back to staff, should this significantly change our determination for the project or the permits? Thank you. Mr. Shelton.
Yeah, I'll take a first stab at that, and then Julie, our designer or architect, can speak further to this. The thought process being, in addition to the cost, is when we were looking at this, obviously Food Share is a nonprofit organization. So if we felt we could comfortably accommodate the solar the facility needed on the roof, there wasn't really the need to do the additional carport, because at the end of the day, as a nonprofit organization, every dollar we fundraise, every dollar Food Share fundraises is critical and has to be applied very prudently. In terms of actual design, I can't speak any to that, so I'll defer to Julie if there's any specific design reasons why those were eliminated. Obviously, just as a planning professional, something we run into with the solar carports in general is when they're in a parking lot, it's like things in parking lots like light posts and whatnot. Obviously, while these would be secured in planter islands, they do present limitations on landscaping in the parking area because you have the carports, and then also potential vehicle conflicts. So, Julie, I don't know if you have anything to add about specifically why the solar carports were removed from a design standpoint.
I can put it in context from a allocation of resources standpoint, which is that the carports, without the solar, even without the PV and the PV infrastructure that would go on top of there, were between $1.5 and $2 million. And it's very impactful on the budget. Food Shares, thinks of things and how many meals that would provide, or how many other things that could provide for the project. And so from a design standpoint, it's less impactful to not have the carports. It's less of an obstruction on the site. So that was a decision that the client made in order to allocate resources towards the parts of the project that would have the greatest impact on their mission.
Thank you. Before I go to staff, when was this decision made in regards to moving the solar panels to the roof? And then I'll go back to staff.
Yeah, I can speak to that briefly, then defer to Julie for a little bit more detail. But, Food Share is very actively seeking funding for this project from federal sources and other sources in addition to the fundraising. So a unique thing about this project is while we've moved through the entitlement process, our design team has actively been working on construction drawings and building drawings to a detailed level far further than most applicants would be at this point. So we've had kind of this really unique parallel track process going where we have moved into some of that more construction drawing level of detail where we start to look at things like this and evaluate cost and stuff like that. So because of that, that's the reason why this has occurred at this point before, because we're running these kind of parallel processes here. Julie, I don't know if you have anything to add regarding the specific timing on that, but that's the high level overview.
Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing. We didn't move the solar panels from the solar canopy to the roof. We always had the primary building code required or main building solar PV on the roof. The solar canopies was supplemental to that. So taking away the solar canopies wouldn't impact what we were doing on the roof anyway.
Thank you for that clarification. That was actually very helpful to me. And then to staff, I just want to make sure that we're okay, that this doesn't significantly change our determination that this needs to go to a rehearing because of that change, especially since it was just stated that it was, I think the word was supplementary. But I don't want to put words in her mouth, and I'd like a definitive answer from staff, please.
Yes. So based on the removal of the solar carports, it would not change our recommendation in any way. The only thing about the project that would change is because of the solar carports, there was no landscape finger in the middle. And so with the removal of those, a couple parking spaces would be filled in by a landscape finger to meet code.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hook. Mr. Tanner, or Mr. Shelton, Ms. White, and Ms. Hensley, I want to say, or what was that? Sorry, Ms. Jackson. Thank you all very much for my many questions in regards to the parking. I'll look to the commission again for another round of questions. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Just a quick question. You have the community room. What is the capacity of that room?
I think Julie will be best positioned to respond to that. Julie,
Okay.
do you have an approximate capacity on that room?
I don't off the top of my head, and I can pull up my drawings really quick. I think from a seated capacity, we have like a classroom style, a capacity of around 140 people in
Okay,
that room.
that's good. I mean, just kind of I just wanted a rough order of magnitude. And then I saw something and I was looking for it while we were going through the last set of questions, and I couldn't find where I found it. But there's a resolution 39 with the Channel Islands Business Park. What is that?
Vice Chair Stewart, in that area, there is an established, it's not quite a specific plan, but it's an established business park. And with that, there is an associated resolution with conditions to maintain some uniformity of that area. And this parcel is part of that business park. Therefore, it's subject to the resolution. And that condition that you have brought up is just maintaining that with clarity.
Great, thank you. That's all the additional questions I had.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. If there are no other questions to the commission at this time, we'll move on to public comment. Before I go to submitted public comment, Madam Secretary, are there any online right now?
No, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll go through the submitted speaker cards as they were given to me. I'll list the 3 names that I have, and if there are any others that wish to speak, please turn in a speaker card. First will be Mr. Drew West, and then Ms. Susana Lopez Garcia, and then Ms. Diane McKay. So, Mr. Drew West, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Drew West. I'm the Board Chair of Food Share Ventura County. I come to this project not only as a community volunteer, but as a business person who's solved complex business and operational problems for my entire career. The project in front of us has two inherent problems associated with it. One is 1 in 4 residents in Ventura County are food insecure. The second issue is that the current capacity of our facilities is not capable of keeping up with the demand currently serving those constituents. We're also unable to take donated food that's available to our county and make sure that it gets into the hands of those who need it within our community. So basically, the project's a solution to these problems. It's a modern and efficient facility. It ensures that every pound does make it into the hands of those who need it. And it's a smart, scalable, and sustainable project that exactly the kind of an infrastructure investment that our community deserves. On behalf of the Board of Food Share and the 250,000 citizens that we serve every year, I urge your support. Together, we can build a solution to this problem and a stronger, more resilient Ventura County. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. West. Next, we have Ms. Susana Lopez Garcia, followed by Ms. Diane McKay. Ms. Lopez Garcia.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Susie Lopez Garcia. I'm the Executive Director for Community Action of Ventura County. We are a nonprofit here in the
I
county.
apologize. I'm going to pause, restart your time. Madam Secretary, can we get her at 3? Thank you very much. Please restart. Apologize. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susie Lopez Garcia. I'm the Executive Director for Community Action of Ventura County. We are a nonprofit. Our main office is located here in Oxnard, but we do serve all of Ventura County. We provide a lot of different services, utility payment assistance, weatherization. We have homeless services. We have workshops around financial mental wellness. We have weatherization as well. And the other program, one of our biggest programs, actually our biggest one, the one that grew the most after COVID, has been our food program. So we are a long-standing partner with Food Share. We receive a lot of their food that comes through us for distribution. We see approximately 350 households every other Thursday come through our Oxnard side for a drive-through distribution. Each year, we have received more than 600,000 pounds of nutritious food and fresh produce directly from Food Share at no cost. In 2024, we were able to serve over 6,900 families that year. By approving this project, you're enabling Food Share to expand its capacity, which means that partners like CAVC can serve even more families in need. This project isn't just about a new building. It strengthens the entire local network of nonprofits, faith-based organizations, and community partners working to ensure that no one in Ventura County goes hungry. On behalf of Community Action of Ventura County, I respectfully urge you to support of this project. Together, we can continue to feed our neighbors and build a healthier, more resilient Oxnard. And also seeing, in addition, just seeing the room, the community room, I think would be a great asset also in that area of Oxnard, having that space to bring community together. I also sit in planning Health and Human Services Day for the Oxnard Leadership Group through the Chamber. And so every year I do look at Food Share to use their space to bring in that cohort for them to see the facility, to understand how the food moves. They go through a packing time where they also see how the food is packed, but we also bring other community members and other topics and speakers into that space for them to learn and discuss in that space. So seeing all that put together, I think would be a great asset for the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez Garcia. Our final speaker is Ms. Diane McKay. Before you begin, I have you as E1, but I assume you really meant for F1.
I did mean F1.
Okay, thank you very much. You may begin when ready. Thank you.
Dr. Lopez knows I've had kind of a long day today. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to share my support. My name's Diane McKay, and I'm the owner of Mustang Marketing here in Ventura County. I've had the pleasure of working alongside Food Share for many, many years. I've also served for 12 years on the Community College District until 2022, and since 2023, I've served on the Behavioral Health Advisory Board for the county. And in these positions, I see that the needs of our community, this diverse and wonderful community, it just continues to grow. The proposal in front of you for a new food share strengthens the entire food distribution network, enabling the community, both citizens and businesses alike, to thrive. Food share isn't just feeding people, it is strengthening our community. When families have access to nutritious food, they're healthier, more productive, better able to contribute to our local economy. This benefits businesses, schools, and neighborhoods alike. Food secure communities, they support a thriving economy, stronger families, and a reliable workforce, and a more vibrant city. Food Share is asking today to let them prepare for the needs of Oxnard residents and all of our county by having a facility that will meet the needs efficiently and effectively in just one place and under one roof. Only by expanding their facilities will Food Share be able to meet the expanding needs, and much time and consideration have been put into the design of this building. I can attribute to that. From food specially prepared and packed for the unhoused, as you saw, meals for families. Food Share works tirelessly to meet the needs. They provide foods by the truckloads to our colleges, to the basic needs centers, to Safe Passage, to Adelante's program to give away. We just did our Safe Passage food giveaway last Saturday. If you've never been on a tour, that's where you see the real magic of having to make these 3 buildings come together and do all of this work. If you were to approve what's before you tonight, they will more efficiently and effectively serve all of our neighbors and friends in need of this support. We all wish we didn't need this service, but the fact is we do. In this lush city where we grow so much food, we still need this, and the need is continuing to grow. That's why I think it's imperative that this extra space for growth is allowed for. I hope we don't need it. I hope we can build a park next to it, but I'm not sure that's really a reality. So anyway, improving this project means investing in a stronger, more resilient Oxnard, where local businesses, communities, organizations, and residents can all thrive together. On behalf of the business community, the nonprofit community, a resident of Ventura County, and a proud supporter of Food Share, I urge you to approve this project before you tonight. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much, Ms. McKay. I'll do one last round. If anyone wishes to speak on public comment on this agenda item F1, I'm looking to Madam Secretary if there's anyone online and anyone in the room.
None, Chair.
Thank you, and I see none here. Before we officially close this public hearing, does the applicant, either Mr. Sheldon or Ms. White, like to respond to any of the public comments made?
No further comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any closing remarks from staff?
I have nothing at this time, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to deliberation. Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. Can I ask the architect one further question?
Without objection, you can ask the question.
Thank you. Our first public speaker used a great word, and I'd like you to address it a little bit, and that is scalability. I'm not speculating on future need, but can the facility handle more than the 250,000 people that's currently serving without, expanding the physical structure?
The building has quite a bit of capacity built in. Monica White mentioned that this facility is designed for 15 years of projected growth. Okay. So we have anticipated additional space needed for everything from the storage of ambient, refrigerated, and frozen goods to staff growth to what the volunteer support that's going to be needed. So within the facility, there is quite a bit of room to grow for food share's anticipated needs.
Okay, great, thank you. That
Okay. Would you like to move into deliberation, or you're good for right now?
well, I can offer some comments.
Okay. And this is the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. So it's rare when I read about a project and I don't have any negative questions or feelings about it. I think that this is just a fantastic partnership that we have with Food Share within Ventura County. And I think that they've have attempted to incorporate a lot of forward-thinking ideas into this project. So again, with the indulgence of my fellow commissioners, I'd like to go over a list of reasons why I would support this, and they're all from the staff report. First, this planned development permit request is of similar nature to the previous industrial developments already entitled. No environmentally sensitive areas are on or adjacent to the property. The project includes 180 parking spaces, a 16-door trash enclosure, an additional enclosure for bin washing and bin storage, outdoor patio amenity for staff, and a lot of landscaping throughout the site. The 2030 general plan identifies the land use for the subject property to be industrial limited, which would be a suitable zone for this project. The parking lot totals 178 vehicular parking stalls, which is well over the required 148 stalls. Over 124,000 square feet of landscaped area is proposed, which is great. I mean, this is an industrial area, so that's, I feel, above and beyond the call of duty. And the proposed project will not create significant noise impacts. So, having said that, I am more than happy to support the staff's recommendation and this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Vice Chair Dr. Seward.
Yes, I just wanted to say I too can support this project. I think that food insecurity is still critical in this county, and Food Share is taking a step to increase their capacity so that they can meet those needs. And Ms. McKay, I'm not going to repeat all of that she said, but she said it excellently. So she covered the reasons why we need this. So I can support this, and if time, I'll make the motion if needed.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Seward. Any others from the commission on deliberation? Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
I think just to build and echo on my colleagues' comments thus far, Ms. White, you began your comments this evening by saying how happy you were to be here with us, but I think the feeling is, more than mutual, and indeed ours. Just being able to see the presentation and be reminded of the extraordinary work that you, your team, your board, the thousands of volunteers, not only from here, Oxnard, but across Ventura County, just to be able to accommodate your growth, your projected growth, to move you closer to, I'll say, the heart of Oxnard, more central to Oxnard, in a location that will give you access in many different directions, not just, the 101, but, just 5 points central to Camarillo and other directions of the county. So the way I kind of see it and take everything in, as well as the staff report that was put together and presented to us this evening, I see this as a win-win-win-win-win across the board. And so, like my colleagues, just grateful and will be ready to support after our colleagues are done with their remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Any others from the commission? Commissioner Schulke.
Thank you, Chair. Some of you know I work at Oxnard College, which is adjacent to College Park, which of course is, as you mentioned, a major hub for Food Share's operations. And I am reminded regularly in seeing that long queue of cars how impactful your services are for our community and throughout the county. So, and I wanted to say I really appreciate the turnout and support of this proposal today as well. We don't often see that. Like my colleagues, it's a privilege to be able to consider and support this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Schuelke. I'll look to Commissioner Barcena. You don't have to. And then I'll finish with my own comments, and we can do a second round if we want before any motion. So I'd just like to say for myself that just the whole hearing, I appreciate as chair, and I'm sure as we did as commission, that we got more color and context from the project description with your full presentation, just a whole round of history of the project itself and of the organization and what it can do and their impacts thereof. At least for me, just on the purely objective and technical side, this was probably one of the best round of answers to some of the questions that I had. It alleviated a lot of my concerns before coming into meeting, anything that came out of the presentation, and so I greatly appreciate that. For me, I do like how there is a 2-acre vacant lot. I was concerned that it was just in general that it might get a little bit impacted with parking. I know that developers don't usually want to do that. Obviously, this is not the same thing. There's not going to be housing here, and so you're able to do that. And I feel like it'll be better, even though it wasn't put into numbers, that you're going to be all under one roof, just in terms of, I just think administratively, I feel vehicular, and I just see no negatives to all being under one roof just in regards to that. And so I appreciate what the group is going to do in the future and their impact on the city and on the county at large. And I look forward to supporting staff's recommendation when it's put forward to the commission. Thank you. I'll look to the commission. If there's no other comments, a motion is in order. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Oh, I was going to move the recommended action.
Okay. It is moved by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart to find the project exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 21080.69 statutory exemption and adopt resolution 2025-XX approving planning and zoning permit number 24-540-02 plan development permit and 24-310-03 lot line adjustment subject to certain findings and conditions. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Barcena. Is there any deliberation on the motion before us? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner Barcena.
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Aye.
Commissioner Schuelke.
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the group. Appreciate it. Thanks. We'll take a slight pause just for our esteemed group to exit. I'll get myself ready. Madam Secretary, can I have, is the remote there? Not quite to my presentation yet. We'll first go to G, study sessions, reports, and with none listed, we'll move our business to community development staff updates. And before that happens, I'd like to thank staff for switching around H&I as requested to conform more to the bylaws that were recently amended. So, Ms. Peltier.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The only announcement staff has is that we will have Planning Commission on November 6th. We will be taking a look at the accessory dwelling unit ordinance along with some other zone text amendments.
Thank you for that. If I can follow up, is that a study session, I assume, the ADUs, or is that going to be actual public hearing?
It'll be a public hearing item.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much. Are there any questions of Ms. Peltier? And I'm not sure, were you able to introduce yourself the last time you were here? And if not, if I could just get a 30 seconds, if not for them, then just for me then, please.
Sure. My name's Jamie Peltier. I'm the planning supervisor. I started here in the city almost a year ago in January. I come from a long list of other jurisdictions. My most previous was City of Ventura. So happy to be here in Oxnard and serving you guys tonight.
Well, appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Peltier. Mr. Zaragoza, do you have anything? We haven't seen, okay, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Moving on to Planning Commission business, Section I. As I stated to the commission, that I plan to use the remainder of these meetings just to give a brief preview or overview on something in regards to the process or parliamentary procedure. And today, we're going to review the common motions that are most applicable to the processing of Planning Commission business. As the presentation gets on there, Diego. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Diego, thank you, Christian, or Madam Secretary, for forwarding my presentation. So I'm not even going to try to get it under 5 minutes, but I promise it's actually going to be shorter than the last time. So at least that you have to look forward to. So, all the motions, I just want to preview that we're going to go overview on this. It has been done or at least once in the last 5 years. So Commissioner Dr. Lopez has seen it in some way or fashion, but for most of you, you may not have seen every single one. So again, why do we use Robert's rules? Legally, in Oxnard, Measure M was passed in 2020, which required the usage of Robert's rules, or as you see on the book, Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised 12th edition. Procedurally, it's a framework for a group to consider and decide on action to be taken. And in a nutshell, it gives certain rights to each individual, but not unilateral power, allowing the majority to decide on actions without running roughshod over anyone else, and still allowing a minority to have their voice heard without being an immovable obstacle. And it's flexible enough to allow the body to act quickly with more than a majority, but allows a minority or individual to suggest alternative actions. So with a main motion, an agenda item, at least in Oxnard, how we do it on Planning Commission, an agenda item and description is read. There are questions by the body, then public comment, and then some initial discussion leading into a motion. A motion is a clearly described proposal for the group to do something. Most likely we use staff's recommendation, but we can have our own, and you've seen that done on many occasions before. A second must be made that shows that at least 2 members want the proposal considered, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they agree with it, just that they want to discuss it. The chair states the question to let everyone in the group know that what is exactly being proposed is in order and is clearly phrased. Deliberation commences, starting with the maker of the motion, and after debate ends, the chair puts the question to the commission or the body, and then the voting occurs and the result is announced. After a motion is made, with the pictures that you see here, I consider it a mix of all the above pictures. You have one person speaking at a time, you may have opposing sides, and not necessarily just 2, and you have a mix of ideas from everyone. Each of these have been done once on the commission. Commissioner Nash was actually for Committee of the Whole. Basically, he was chair of just forming a motion on one of the items that we had during Planning Commission. Quasi-Committee of the Whole, the chair just remains, and these different committees allow the commission to work on a more informal level. So Quasi-Committee of the Whole, that was done once by me. We were trying to pick a date that happened late last year that moved on to this year. And then for informal consideration, we did that in our subcommittee on the bylaws amendment. So that was done with previous Chair Chavez and Commissioner Conley in regards to that. That just allowed us to be a little bit more flexible in how we spoke with each other. In regards to amendment, you've seen this a few times. If you don't agree with the motion being proposed, you can always change the motion somehow. Amendments should say exactly where in the main motion the change is to be made and precisely what words to use. A vote on an amendment only decides whether the body should consider the main motion with the amendment, not the amended motion itself. For example, you may like the amendment and will only vote for the main motion if it is amendment, or you may not like the amendment and then you would only vote for the main motion only if it isn't amended. However, you can vote on both of these separately and in your own judgment and how you see fit. Let's see. In regards to a division of question, we've only had this once on the Planning Commission. I still remember that Commissioner Chavez wanted to vote. As you saw, we'll use the example of this public hearing item. There are actually two recommendations: to find the project exempt from environmental review, and then the other to adopt a resolution. And so I remember that he wanted to vote on both of those in a different way, and so he requested a division of a question, and he voted differently on each one. And so that is an option for us in the future if you'd like to use that. In general, both of them have to pass for whatever legally needs to happen, but there is the option for you to vote separately on them if it looks logical. Oops, wrong one. For the previous question, both Commissioner Dr. Lopez and myself have used this before. If you think that there is enough debate after a motion has been done, anyone can move to the previous question or to close the question or to call the vote in more layman's terms. There needs to be a second, and then if 2/3 of the members decide that debate is done, then we vote on it with a 2/3 vote, and we go directly into a vote on what we moved the previous question or closed the question. And these are motions that give a lot of powers to the members who are not the chair. And you can do this at basically any time, interrupting a speaker or even myself. So if you have a question about parliamentary procedure, the right form is parliamentary inquiry chair, but you can usually just ask it a question, and I've processed it as such. And I'm supposed to tell you and advise you how a motion is likely to get your requested action, but it doesn't mean you have to follow me. In regard to a point of order, you think that the chair has made a mistake, and so you make the point. I say, please state your point, and I rule it as your point is well taken or not well taken, and then we go from there. And then for request for information, if you have a question of someone that needs a little bit more prompt information, you can do a point of information or request for information, and the chair will direct it to whoever can answer it best if they see fit to do so. And then for adjourning, when the meeting has completed, the chair says, is there any further business? And if there's no further business, the meeting is adjourned. The reason I'm a little bit more specific than this, than maybe other chairs, is because there are a lot of items that could or should be done before an adjournment. It's not likely in this commission. I could see it happen with at least how one of our bylaws are fashioned. But I just wanted to give you that option because once an adjournment happens, it legally closes and we can't just open it, or else we have to go through the whole noticing and everything like that. And so I just wanted to say that Robert's Rules is, at least in my opinion, it's a great way to get something done. It's not meant to be an obstacle. It's meant to, as a tool to get the organization, which we all love, to get to the best decision for everyone. So I appreciate everyone's patience with me on regards to this, and I'll look if there's any questions before going into adjournment. Right. Thank you very much. Since there is no further business, the meeting will be adjourned if there's no objection. Oh, Commissioner Nash.
Thank you. And I want to begin by saying I'm extremely fortunate to be in this position where I'm able to donate my stipend, and I made the donation to the Carmen Ramirez Memorial Scholarship Fund. this isn't to grandstand so much as to bring awareness that there are many, many, many worthy nonprofits in Oxnard and Ventura County. And if I can get one person to maybe write out a check or make a donation, 5, 10, whatever, however much, then, I've done something good. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I hope people open their hearts and their wallets to support our nonprofits. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. And it was my mistake. I didn't go to the rest of the commission if they have any business or information that they'd like to report. Seeing none and seeing no further business, the meeting will be adjourned if there is no objection. The meeting is adjourned at 7:10 p.m. Thank you all and good night.